All right, guys, let's connect today, April 6th, 2025, coming out for a live stream. It's been a little bit since I've been here on the stream to talk about Walking Dead stuff, The Last of Us Season 2, which premieres in a week. A little bit of Dark Winds, even though I've only watched the first episode of the third season and wasn't really anything that great. I'm watching Billions still, other shows, movies. How about you guys? What are you watching? What do you recommend? Hopefully you're safe and sound and doing well, because there's always a Reacher, was another show. I was thinking about it coming to my head. So hopefully you're doing well. I haven't talked in a little bit, but, definitely interesting. I'm working on my book series now. I wrote the first book of the second series of Fight For Us. So I'm on chapter 13 of the first edit, and then I'll have my wife start editing it, and then I'll edit it again. And I'm trying to wrap it up and have it ready to go for, I'd love to say May, but we'll have to see when it actually goes, because I'm just not sure. But the big thing, guys, is The Last of Us Season 2 that premieres in 1 week. We got Dead City Season 2 in a month. Well, a little less than a month now. But so we'll have The Last of Us Season 2, Dead City Season 2 right on top of each other a little bit, because The Last of Us Season 2 is going to be 7 episodes. So that is what the word is saying online. So that's only 7 weeks. That's going to carry over into Dead City. And then, I've seen the trailer for Dead City Season 2, and it's interesting again. It's still Maggie. It's still Negan. I still feel like I love to see other characters like Jerry, like Aaron, like Father Gabriel, like anybody else. I don't know if the show can really rely on Maggie and this place called The Bricks, which is kind of ridiculous, right? Like, that takes us away from Hilltop, takes us away from the Sanctuary, Alexandria, Commonwealth. It takes away stuff from other areas, and they do it because of filming other places in New Jersey and calling it New York, in Massachusetts, calling it New York. But yeah, if you've seen the little clips and the teasers, we're going to have Kim Coates. We're going to have a couple people from different shows, and the Dama comes back, and the Croat comes back, and Negan and Maggie and Herschel Ree, and it's just like a lot of stuff there as well. But thank you guys for taking the time to be here for the next hour. Hopefully you're doing well. Heart of Nixie, a Big Tree, Carol, everybody else coming and joining us for the next hour. If it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or the full hour, we truly appreciate taking the time. So yeah, I've been really busy, and that was the biggest thing, is why I took basically March off. And it is March Madness, if you know basketball, but it's kind of been crazy. This year has been crazy. It's like one thing after another every month. But that's life, right? We're making through it. We got to be positive with it. There's bigger things on the horizon, hopefully. I have my golf trip coming up pretty soon. I had to pay my taxes, which was a crazy thing, but I learned from it. So if we go and grow and learn from what we do, whether we like the outcome or not, that's always a great thing, a learning experience. Jonathan Wilder, how have you been? I've been pretty good. Like I said, I've been pretty busy. This year has been tough. Every month it's been something. Like, oh yeah, I'm excited to get into April, which, is, we'll be wrapping up when this month's done, the first third of the year, which is crazy. It's like January takes forever. February is quick because it's a shorter month. March is college basketball, and, I'm a Duke fan, and they lost yesterday. And I had Florida and Duke in the finals in my pool. And now I'm out, basically, because Duke, I had winning it all. And so Houston, Florida, we'll have to see who wins. I probably won't watch the game on Monday, but I will check the scores for sure. Just like today with UConn and South Carolina women. I probably won't watch the game, but I'll check out to see who wins. And two great programs, two great stories of South Carolina's dominance and Paige Becker's, being the face of the college basketball, going on to the WNBA next, season. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens, the Gators versus the Houston Cougars, and we'll have to see if it is going to be the Florida Gators. And, Duke just fell apart at the end. They didn't close it out. So, I don't know. John, did you see John Cena's heel turn at Elimination Chamber? Bet you didn't see that coming, did you? So I did not. I have seen parts of it because it was a big deal when John Cena became the bad guy to wrestle Cody Rhodes in WrestleMania this month, which I'll definitely check out for sure. Yeah, well, Juju was definitely all face. You know, Paige Beckers was just another face too. It's kind of like they've always had a couple different people in women's basketball. Like it was Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and Juju and Paige, and it would have been great to see Juju actually play against Paige at UConn, but out with the ACL, so that's always a tough thing. Carol, she says she had major surgery, a brain tumor removal, still standing, still strong. Well, that's, I hate to say awesome, but I don't know what else to say because it's awesome that you're doing well. You survived for one. You're staying strong. Hopefully it was in an area that's not affecting anything too greatly for function, or speech or cognition, or I don't know where it was. So it's hopefully somewhere that you're going to be going strong and doing well. So love the idea of people coming up with anything that comes their way, right? And I'm going through some tough times this year, but I didn't have any kind of surgery myself. My wife has a procedure tomorrow that I have to take her to, and she should be okay, but you never know, right? So Carol says 2 weeks post-op. That's great, Carol. So I don't know if you're going to get physical therapy or not afterwards. You never know how it could be affecting our motor skills or our balance, our stability on there. But, you're still recovering after any kind of surgery, and the brain is an organ, so it takes time to recover and, walk, don't run, take our time, do very well. Little by little. And, okay. Yeah. So the good thing about that, Carol, is that the brain can heal and it can form new pathways. So that's a big thing that it's going to take time though. It's not quick, but you can do it. And it's going to be frustrating, especially with communication. That's a part of life. Like any kind of communication is always frustrating, but you can definitely, get through it and make things work. And like I said, I don't know how else the other word, but frustrating is the word. Annoying, impactful, that's going to be our day-to-day. But, you're doing well right now, and hopefully you'll make it strong. And, I wish you all the best. And I just know that's any kind of tough thing. Like if you talk to somebody and you're like not getting the right message across, or it's not going the way you want it to go, whether it's a communication with a friend, a colleague, a coworker, someone at a store. It's just, lack of a better word, frustrating. So all I can say is find different ways to communicate if we're struggling there too, because you might be trying to say something and it can't come out because with, communication and verbal skills and everything, it definitely can be impactful. But just trust me, it'll take time, but you'll get better. Rob K asked a good question. Favorite Val Kilmer movie? So he just passed away. Val Kilmer was 65 years old. And so do I have to say like he is the main person in that movie or the one he's in the movie? Because my favorite movie that he's in is Heat, but it's not his movie. It's Robert De Niro's movie and Al Pacino's movie. And there's a bunch of people in that. So, but if I don't get disqualified because say he's not the main character, I have to go with Heat. Heat's my favorite spot. Heat. Jonathan, how the kitty's doing. So I don't know if you know John because it's been some time, but I know that Milo passed away in January, so he's no longer with us. But Otis is doing well. He's vibrant and playful and, a great cat. And he's kind of crazy. But, yeah, so they're doing well. I mean, Otis is doing well. And, I miss Milo every day. And I don't want to get upset about it. So, but Milo is on to different things. And, I'll see him down the road, we say, I'm not going to get another cat. I decided we're just going to have Otis and then go from there and then see where it is, where life takes us for hopefully another 10 to 12 years with Otis. So, but yeah, guys, so I'm excited for The Last of Us Season 2. The big question is if you don't know the video games. So the first video game was the first season. And there's only 2 video games. So if they go by this route, the second video game will be the second season. So are we only going to get 2 seasons of The Last of Us? I hope not, because I love The Last of Us story as a whole, except for the big thing that happens with Joel in the second game. And so we know that they're introducing Abby and her people and then the story. And if you saw the trailer, you know they're really highlighting all the stuff that comes from the game. Like the flashbacks and the things and the that and the this. And, Joel lies to Ellie. And so we know why he did it, but it's definitely something that is going to have repercussions down the road. Now, does that mean, will they drag it out for seasons 3 and 4? Will they do it here? Will they edit it? Because we all know, just like The Walking Dead, that the show is the show, the comic is the comic, the book is the book, the game is the game, and so on and so forth. So you can mix things up. You can change things up, and that's the good thing about shows. You can add stuff to a show. You can change stuff. But I don't know if they're going to change the stuff that happens with Abby and Joel. We'll have to see if that happens or not. So, Brenda, hello, PT from South Carolina. Awesome, Brenda. So, I love South Carolina. I love the Carolinas in general. I was thinking about down the road. I was talking to a patient the other day about my wife and I potentially moving to the Carolinas or Georgia. But so much has to change, So we'll have to see. But the Carolinas are a great time for sure. Jonathan Wilder, good question, Q&A. Why Abby not buff in the show? Because that, to me, was one of... not the only, but one of the dumbest things that you had in the world of The Last of Us. So Ellie is this little unassuming, I hate to say little girl, but like petite, smaller girl. And Joel is the, protector of Ellie. And you play as Joel in the first video game. He's the, protagonist, and you want to be there too, and you have to deal with all these people and the fireflies and everything. And then you find out in the second game that there's this girl named Abby, and the story, how the first game ends runs into the second game, and Abby is basically wronged, and her life is changed forever, and her parents, it's just a terrible situation. But I don't know how Abby is so muscular and why they decided to make her so muscular in the game, because the game, you could do whatever you wanted. It was an open book. Just like all the other shows of Fear the Walking Dead, it's an open book. I would have made her, she can be muscular, but she doesn't have to be so huge and buff and like a bodybuilder. Like, you could have made her like Linda Hamilton in the Terminator. Either one or two. In Terminator 2, she's ripped. So you could just make her like lean muscle, because it would be difficult to be that big in a zombie apocalypse, dystopian universe, thing. But it's a video game, and it's not real life. And it's just kind of unrealistic when you have someone be that huge. Just like Reacher. And if you've seen the latest series of Reacher on Amazon, if you have Amazon Prime and you have not watched Reacher yet, and you like Alan Ritchson, or you like Lee Child's books, or you just like some sort of, I don't know, different kind of show it's just good. Like, it's an army, military, action-packed, funny show that just works. I don't know how else to explain it. And Reacher is always muscular, but he never works out. And in this latest season, season 3, they talk about it. And the guy's like, you don't work out? And he's like, no. And he's like, why? Because it's stupid. Well, how are you so big? Like, so muscular? Because he doesn't have time to work out or eat right. There's times in the show where he doesn't sleep really at all. And that plays a factor in your hormone levels. You just can't really grow muscle. There's a state of anabolic, or muscle building, or catabolic, muscle breaking down. And he would be in a catabolic state. But again, it's a show. It's it's fictional. It's not real life. It's nothing to do with reality. But then they kind of want to be in reality type of things. So, but are you guys excited for The Last of Us Season 2, Dead City Season 2? Are you watching Dark Winds? Are you watching anything else? Like, we're on Billions Season 3. We're watching Entourage a little bit. We just started Season 3. And I mean, we're watching a little different things here and there. Like during breakfast, we watched 16 Candles on HBO because it was just on, and we just put it on. And it's an okay movie. It's a good John Hughes movie. It's not his best in my opinion, but it's definitely up there for a lot of people who love it. I have not watched any of that, John. He says, have I been enjoying the new 3 hours of SmackDown and Raw on Netflix lately? I haven't watched anything. So, I said this before and I'll say it again. I usually only just watch Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, and SummerSlam. Those are the main 3 things that I watch. And that's what I'm going to watch now. So WrestleMania is coming up very soon. We got the Masters coming up this week, which is awesome. Some of you people may like golf or not, but I'll be watching. Heart of Nixie says, Dark Winds, it can be hard to follow. And so I've only watched the first episode of the latest season, and it was a little too crazy. I'm sure it's explained. They love to jump around with, they give you a little teaser, and they're like, 2 days ago, 16 hours ago, 3 weeks ago, this ago, some time ago. And then you come back to catch up to it, whether it's that same episode or down the road. So, yeah, I mean, I was not really excited for, I was excited. I take it back. I was excited for Dark Winds, but it let me down big time because the first 2 seasons were okay, this is kind of cool, a little like reality a little bit in New Mexico with, the tribal police and everything, and something I don't really know much about. So I'm like, okay, cool, And it's like this, that, people doing crazy things there. And now we're talking about supernatural stuff and, a little bit of dream sequences and what's reality and, your past is coming around and your son and you're this and you're that. And you're like, all right, now we're getting a little too crazy. But yeah, I probably would cancel AMC, or give it a break. Cancel it for the month and then re-up it for when Dead City comes back around, And the NFL draft as well. I'm always excited about that, even though it's a big to-do about nothing. Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Shador Sanders, Abdul Carter, all these people. And you're like, okay, cool. Well, we'll see what happens. A lot of people get drafted and they're busts. They fall apart or they get injured or whatever. And hopefully they take care of their money and they do it right and they do it well and they have a nice long career. But NFL does stand for not for long. The average player, lasts 2 to 3 years. That's it. Chris Schober, do you think The Last of Us Season 2 will go the way of PS4, PS5 game? So I personally think it will. So I think it's going to be that basically how it's done, because in the trailer they do all the same things. They do a lot of stuff shot for shot with Ellie and Joel and Dina and Jesse and Ellie and Abby and all these people. You're seeing all these different things. So you're seeing a lot of stuff that's played out there. Where they go for that, I don't know. Will they continue on? They can. But when you have the source material, it always kind of takes a little bit of a hit when you go outside of the source material. But I think you can go outside of the source material in the second season of The Last of Us because it was so crazy and divided a lot of fans of what happens to Joel. So it's kind of that's crazy to think you do that to a main character. Now what? Not really a big fan of that, Yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers should go to the Steelers because they can probably benefit from each other because the Steelers are a good team. But Aaron Rodgers might be too much of a head case to actually play well, so we'll have to see. And the Steelers' defense is good, and the team around him is good, so he could just be a game manager. He won't have to do anything crazy. But they have to protect him because they're going to be going against some pretty good defenses in their division and, of course, in the conference. Brenda, do you think that Dead City's second season is going to be as good as the first season? Well, I hope so. I mean, I think that it's going to be probably a lot of the same but different because Negan, to me, carried the show. Negan was the best part of season 1 of Dead City. Maggie was okay, and I like Maggie, and I like Lauren Cohan, But I don't think I think they need more people on Maggie's side. Like, I think Maggie is not that good of a standalone character by herself. But it would be great to have, what if you brought in just some Commonwealth troopers, whatever. How about bring them in? How about bring somebody over from other shows to connect the dots a little bit? Because to me, Dead City feels on its own island. And yes, I know it's Manhattan, the island of Manhattan, but it definitely feels like it's trying to reach for connections, and it's there but not there. Like, the best part of season 1 was Negan's story with the Croat, with Simon's cameo. We need another one of those. We need some more connections there. Like, please bring somebody around, or a group, or a small people group. Because I feels like, to me, is that The Walking Dead Dead City is pinching pennies to make us watch the show. To say, you like The Walking Dead, right? You like Maggie, right? Some of you like Negan, right? Remember, he's kind of good now. He kind of helps out now. He saved Maggie. He saved Herschel. He saved, Judith. He saved all of these people. Remember, he's likable, but now he's got to deal with New York and these gangs and these groups, or these factions, or whatever they're calling them. Then you have to deal with the New Babylon Marshal. So there's enough story that draws me in, and I hope it's good. I hope it definitely is well. And I agree with Carol. I do not want to see Negan and Maggie ever get together. And they're really bringing a big deal. Like, I don't care about Negan and Lucille. Like, I don't care about some stupid baseball bat with barbed wire on it. It's a stupid thing. It's a symbol. It's a that. I get it. But the people in New York don't care anything to do with Negan and his stupid baseball bat. Why would they care and be afraid of this guy? Ooh, he's got a baseball bat. Who cares? You have a crowbar or something that's way more stronger than that. It just makes more sense, and it's a big deal because it's wrapped in barbed wire, and it's this and it's that, and it's named after his wife that we should see. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, we should see his wife, Jeffrey Dean Morgan's wife, who plays Lucille in the Walking Dead universe. We should see her on Dead City as the cameo for that. Will it work? Will it be good as Simon's? I don't know. Simon was just a better character and a bigger character for the Walking Dead franchise. So we'll have to see what happens with, second season going into a third season. But it's like, okay, because The Last of Us is 6 episodes. I believe Dead City may be 8 episodes now. I think they extended it a little bit. So that would be good to see, what happens with Negan, the Dama, Croat, different groups, different people, Kim Coates' character, like what they're actually going to do for that. But it's going to draw us in, and I hope the writing is good. And, I don't really care that it's in New York City. I don't really care that they're putting the electrical system back up and they're using the walkers to power it. That's nice, but it's nothing that's that captivating enough. Like, Rick and Michonne's story was okay, but it had Rick and Michonne. By far 2 of the biggest characters in the franchise and 2 of the best actors in the franchise and the universe. And it worked. And it worked how it ended with Judith and RJ at the end, and it was wrapped up with a nice, pretty pink bow at the end, and now they're back home, and the Commonwealth is around, and they're saved, and the CRM is broken down, and now, but why wouldn't they want to go take over New York? Are they just going to let it be? Like, what's the end game of Dead City? Are they going to connect with the CRM soldiers that are still there, but now they're good? The Commonwealth soldiers that can go in there and now are good? Are they going to rebuild the bridges? Are they going to have infrastructure back up and running? Because it's been a bajillion years since the walkers have been around, and yet there's still a bajillion walkers in New York City. That's the funniest part to me, is that there are like 58 billion walkers still in New York City after all this time. And it's hard to get into the city. It just doesn't make sense to me, but that's the way we're going. Jonathan Wilder, do you think Red Dead Redemption and Grand Theft Auto will follow The Last of Us by going from gaming to television? I don't know. I could see Red Dead Redemption. I don't know how Grand Theft Auto would do it, because I guess you would have to play along with where you want to go, and I guess you could do it as Vice City. It would be pretty amazing. But I think Red Dead Redemption could go the route of Fallout and everything there too, because video games now are kind of they're doing it well. They're doing this stuff right. It has a fan base. Like, the Marvel Cinematic Universe showed that the fans carry the franchise. They will go see a movie. They will buy the comic books. They will read the stories. They will see the series. They will see the different movies. And Daredevil has been pretty good so far if you're watching it on Disney Plus. But my biggest criticism is Daredevil, and any movie or any show, is that fight scenes, right? That Daredevil has his, I don't even know what the weapon is, but it's like two sticks that go together, and he can like fly across the room or pull himself across the room or pull across through the city, and he can jump, and it's a weapon, it's a baton, it's just multi-purposeful. And it's very strong, and it's probably metal or steel or whatever on there too. And he uses those things and knocks people down and knocks people out and hits people and does this and that too. And then he's punching and kicking, and he's a martial artist. He knows how to fight. But then he's fighting a couple characters, and they're not really going down, or he fights someone. I don't want to give anything away too much, but if you got smacked in the face with a metal pipe or a steel pipe, that's going to break bone. That's going to hurt really bad. and I know it's a superhero fictional universe stuff thing, but it's like they're unimpacted on it there too, Lunch Meat Sandwich Gaming. Last time I saw you live chat was defending lunch. And that's fine. You can defend whatever you want. It doesn't need defending. The Walking Dead universe does not need defending. Like, everyone's like, I'm going to defend it. I'm going to have its honor. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, maybe other channels I think that too. Like, you can think whatever you want about stuff, and that's the good thing about it, but it doesn't make sense to argue about a fictional show, whether you like it or not or whatever. And you can, and that's what social media is, and that's what probably YouTube is, and probably other channels that are still making videos, do that. But it's just entertainment. That's kind of what it is. And all the spinoffs have been entertaining. We've watched them. We've done, movie videos about them and talked about them. And because the Walking Dead universe is still meaningful, that the crazy thing about it is, like, I don't have to watch Dead City. I don't have to watch Daryl Dixon. I don't have to watch anything, but I choose to. And that's the greatest thing, is to be rewarded from a show and series and whatever. But I don't know if these shows are really going to be that rewarding or not. They're going to be entertaining. They're going to be interesting. But I don't know if it's going to be... Like, how does Dead City end? When they were talking about it, they were like, what if Negan saves Herschel and dies in the process? What if Maggie and Negan get together? What if Negan does this? What if Maggie kills Negan? What if Negan kills Maggie? What if this there too? The universe needs both Negan and Maggie. Everybody else that comes around in the shows is replaceable. You're not going to kill Carol and Daryl. You're not going to kill Maggie and Negan. You're going to kill the people that come around that just fill in the gaps, fill in the blanks, fill in the story. But I don't know if, because AMC needs shows. Like, every streaming service that we watch needs shows. And they have them. Amazon has different movies, different shows, different stuff. So does, Disney Plus. So does Apple. So does, everything. Netflix, everything. So I played a lot of the different Grand Theft Autos, John, and I only played a little bit of Red Dead Redemption 1, but that's not really in my wheelhouse there too. But it's all right, Tim. Good to see you on there too. Hopefully you're doing well and staying, I guess, warm, because I live in Florida and it's April 6th as I'm doing this live stream now, and it's getting pretty warm in Florida. Hopefully it's warming up where you're from, but a lot of places I see are still getting snow, still getting this, still getting a lot of, cold weather. So stay warm, stay dry, stay safe. If you had the storms, hopefully you did not have any damage or know anybody that damaged from tornadoes and everything else. And, it's just crazy. Like, I was watching this stuff on 60 Minutes and the fires that were in California and all the homes that burned down. They're just sitting there. Like, what do you do? It just looks like, a dystopian universe. And, like, that's a crazy thing that it wasn't really discussed and talked about in The Walking Dead, about all the debris and toxic chemicals and everything that would be in the air. And from the fires that would happen, from explosions or fighting or whatever, or just fires, stuff would be in the atmosphere and it'd be in the area. Like lead would be here, and the lithium ion batteries are toxic, and so I definitely am going to talk about that in my next series, because I thought about it too, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense, and with the time, because I basically took off March from the live streams, but I got a lot of done, because I always want everything to happen with life quickly, but unfortunately, patience is a virtue, and it takes time. Just like everybody else, I want stuff instantly, instant gratification. I want this, I want that. But then as we get older, hopefully life slows down a little bit and we're okay. But I like the idea of, getting stuff accomplished with the time that we have, because we only have so many hours in a day, so many days, so many weeks, so many months, so many years, so we want to make them count. So doing stuff to plan vacations or clean up your house or clean up stuff or save up money or do something, then, you got to do it. Don't wait. Chris Schober, do you think we will see Rick Grimes in Dead City Season 2? I do not. I think the best chance to see Rick Grimes again would be Daryl Dixon. Daryl Dixon Season 25, or however long they keep making that movie that shows. So we'll have to see. I know they're still making Daryl's show Ride with Norman Reedus, because they had Kim Coates, who played Tig on Sons of Anarchy and a bunch of other shows and movies. But he does an episode with Norman Reedus on Ride, and they're still making... So he's still doing so much, Norman Reedus, right? Like, he does Ride with Norman Reedus, Daryl Dixon. He's in the new Ballerina movie, the kind of spin-off movie with the John Wick movie. So Daryl's in it, Keanu Reeves is in it, Ana de Armas is in it. Like, it's a lot of people are in that series of the John Wick continuation. And Daryl's got a smaller role in it, probably, but he's still in it. And he's still staying very busy. And every time I get to see people, like right now I'm watching Billions. I told you about that. It's on it was a Showtime show, and Dale is in it, Jeffrey DeMunn. And every time he's a far better character on Billions, and he's still not even that great of a character. But his acting ability is far just, I don't know, more challenging on Billions than it was for The Walking Dead. And I don't miss him on The Walking Dead by any means. I know some people love Dale, but he was the moral compass, and then Morgan came in to be the moral compass and whatever like that too. And you got to be the moral compass. Or if it was it was Dale, and then it was Herschel, and then it was Morgan, and then it was like there's always this moral compass there as well. Hardnick says reforestation would naturally occur. It would. I mean, the Earth was going to take care of itself, but the survivors in there would be having to... I don't know how long it would take for the toxicity in the air and the atmosphere for them to actually be able to have breathable stuff. But that's definitely something that I love the ideas of real life coming into fictional universes like my Fight For Us universe. And so it's definitely something to bring it back around. Yeah, and Shawshank Redemption, that's a good one as well. He's in The Green Mile as well. But yeah, I mean, so what are you guys watching? Are you recommend anything? Any movies? I haven't seen any movies since Captain America, and that really wasn't that great. It was kind of a letdown. And so I watched this movie a while ago. It's called Y2K, and it's a horror comedy spoof crazy movie. It's on HBO Max, and it's from the girl that did Snow White. I don't know her name, and a couple other people are in it. And it's not a great movie by any means, but it just takes you back to the 90s because everybody thought, remember Y2K? Like I would assume a lot of people in here remember the year 2000 when we were going from 1999 to the year 2000, which is over 25 years ago, by the way. And that is crazy. That just makes me feel old for there too, because I graduated in early 2000s, and that's crazy amount of time that has gone by. And it's a different world back then. 25 years ago, it was a vastly different world. And I wonder where the world's going to be in 25 years from now. So just think about that. In 2050, right? Like, where is the world going to be with whatever you believe in? I'm not trying to start anything political, but with the tariffs and the administrations that should be, different ones over the years, because it's going to be 25 years from now. So whoever gets elected after this president. So we'll have to see if we go in the right direction, the wrong direction, if we're going to be, recovering from everything with gas and trade and tariffs and the world and AI and, the stock market. Because it's been pretty tough these past 2 days in the stock market. Great time to buy if you got money. But, of course, I don't, because I just paid a bunch of money for my taxes, which is part of the course. But, it's a learning experience for sure. Tim watched Den of Thieves 2. I have not seen the... So it's definitely something that... Yeah, buddy. Sounds good. That's hilarious. Like, that makes no sense what people do on YouTube for, like, nonsense. But that's what people do in here, too. Like, I read a great quote years ago. That it's like, if you're staying busy and doing stuff, you will not come up against someone and criticize what somebody else is doing, because you have so much other stuff going on, and I definitely do. It's so other chat. It's just hilarious how people on YouTube, like, it's such a small little bubble in YouTube, especially like different universes, different groups, different things, different topics, but they're really just grasping at straws to have all this nonsense. But I just remember that karma's a bee, man. It comes around again, whether you like it or not, and causing more problems and trouble. It's just nonsense. What goes around comes around. And so I remember I was talking about it, and whatever the nonsense was with, the channel we're talking about. Like, it just doesn't make sense to mention it. But it's just like, come on, man. Like, move on with life and do something positive. Right? It just doesn't make sense to have people causing problems that are just nonsense. There's bigger things in life, and this year definitely shows it, so being appreciative of good people in your life, and just, you ain't got time for drama and whatever. That's a part of growing up, like high school. It was always a big deal with, like, he said, she said, this, that, whatever. And then it's like a big deal, like, oh my God, I can't believe this, I can't believe that. And like, all that doesn't matter at all. And then you get older, and hopefully it doesn't still stick with you, but some people love the drama. And then I realized too that the elderly, the people who live in a 55 and older community, or retirement places, or retirement home, or this, or assisted livings and stuff on there too, it kind of gets back to high school. It gets back to, can you believe this, or can you believe that, or they're doing this, or what about that, or this is crazy here, I can't believe this, I can't believe that, can you believe this, can you believe that? And it's just kind of crazy. And it's just like their bubble and their world gets smaller. Like in high school, you're in high school, so you're all together in high school. But now you can branch out. Like, the world's are a different place now than 25 years ago when I was in high school. But you can go on social media and talk to people from other schools and other areas and other things. And, if you play, soccer or sports with other people from other schools, you can stay in touch and be there and be involved with that. Like, it was kind of crazy back in the day to do any of that. And then Instant Messenger came out, and we were able to do that and message our friends and, be able to go hang out. Because it was great to hang out with other people from time to time. Because if you saw the same people day in and day out for years, even middle school, so like potentially 7 years, that's a long time. And people see each other as a certain way, and it's nice to just get away from it. Step away, step out, get away from it, become your own person. And it's nice to have that breakdown, get away from all the nonsense, because that's what it is. It's all minutia, it's all stupid, especially when you have like real life things going on, like health conditions, money issues, problems with after natural disasters, problems after rebuilding your house, problems with major things. It's just, so stupid. And it's crazy. I was thinking about it too. Like, I've been on YouTube now for years, like a long time with this channel. And over 10 years. And all the nonsense with other channels. Like, not just one, several different channels. And, you know, I think somebody said it perfectly when it's like, the more popular you are, or the more known you are, or the more notoriety you have, more people come for you. So it's a good and bad thing. Like, if you have a smaller group, it's not going to be that much people coming for you. But if it expands rapidly, greatly overnight, or over years, you got to deal with all this nonsense. And, you know, I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time for that nonsense. We're here to educate, you know, give information, motivation, just have a good time. Just get people going the right way. Be available to them, you know? But then people were like, oh, I don't care. I just want views. I want that. I just want people watching my stuff. So I'll say all this crazy stuff, outlandish stuff, just so people watch it. And they can come and fight me for it. And I can defend myself, causing trouble, causing this, causing that. And that's just so dumb. Like, it's just a waste of time. You know, when you got a million things going on, like a career and a house and a family and a car and, you know, extracurricular activities and a way of life and family and friends and neighbors and everything. It's like, I ain't got time for that nonsense. Get out of here with that. So, bigger and better things, get educated, informed, develop a skill, make connections. Communication is key. Be a good person because it comes back around again. And it's just amazing because people can hide over the internet and hide over social media and hide everything like that too. And it's just like, that's why people can do a lot of things. There's like that meaning, like if you could hide to potentially get away with something, would you do it? And that's a big question in the therapy world, because I think the answer would be a lot of people would. And people would say they wouldn't, but then if they know that they could hide somewhere and talk all this smack and cause all these problems and hide that way, probably so, you know. But TV shows, movies, sports, books, it's all an escape from reality, from your everyday life. That's what we need, right? And it was funny because I was talking with people, and I remember when the internet came about and was really big in the 90s. And it was a big deal because you had your life, and then you could go online and have your second life. Because the main focus of your life was everyday life. No electronics. You weren't connected to your phone. And then they came out with the BlackBerry, and everybody was on it. And now they came out with a smartphone, and everyone's got that, and everyone's on it. And it's a real problem with the dopamine hits and responses that you have to check your phone. And I'm the same way. But it's nice to, you know, decompress and put it away and disconnect. And that was nice to have last month when I was away. It was a nice break. And it just showed that I don't need... So it's funny how this person would be putting this up in here too, which is probably the actual person that is there. But then you would think that, why do you have to complain about my channel to build that person up? Right? Like, why would you do that? That doesn't make sense. But, you know, that's how people are, and that's how people are always going to be. And the crazy thing about it is, I just want to go on with my life and not deal with any of these problems. And so, you know, we'll see how Dead City's going to be, in the Daryl Dixon show, The Last of Us, different shows, different movies, different things on there too. But, you know, we'll see where life takes us if I start to make more videos about, you know, life and inspiration and working out and fitness and everything, because, you know, that's the big thing as well. You know, got to get your body in good condition to stay alive, so you can do things and function and have fun and be with your friends and family and go on trips and have experiences. That's what it's all about, you know? But life's getting tougher, more competitive, crazier, you know? And the crazy thing about it is, like, it's probably the same person that's making all these different things in the chat and talks about the other channel. But you can subscribe to both channels. Like, it's not like you have a limited amount of subscriptions that you can subscribe to. You can subscribe to as many or as little as the channels that you want. But the fact that you would think that you can only do it to one or the other is so short-sighted and dumb, in my opinion. But yeah, guys, so it's April 6th. We're getting there, the 4th month of the year. And then, what do you guys got going on this year? Anything, any trips, any experiences, anybody coming to your house or you're going there, travels, anything like that too? Any high school reunions? Because it's always crazy when people are telling me that they're going to their such and such year high school reunion. And it's always fun to hear about that because, you know, I would have loved to have gone to a reunion or whatever, but I haven't ever. And being in Florida from New Jersey is definitely different. And, you know, people either stayed in New Jersey or they got away. But the people back home are in their own little bubble. Heart of Nixie, the 50th high school reunion. That's pretty awesome. And I've always liked birthdays and things that are like that because we're still here. We're still around. And we lose people all the time, every so often. And so we want to value and cherish everything that we have because it's not guaranteed. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. Next month, next year is not guaranteed. That's why we want to take care of ourselves, mind, body, and soul. You know, yeah, it always does. So time flies as we know it, right? You know, for the past 46 minutes, we've gotten 46 minutes older. And hopefully some things in life take time, right? The good things especially. And before you know it, you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. It's like, boom, you know? And it's just like when you get older, you just don't want to argue anymore. You don't want to fight anymore. You know, like it's just not worth it. Because when you're younger, you want to argue, like especially like teenagers, they love to argue and express themselves and say you're wrong or you're right or agree, whatever on there to be on the same page. And for a lot of things, you can be right or wrong. But at the end of the day, we want to be doing well and hopefully everything's going well with everybody. And I just appreciate the time with everybody, taking the time here because you choose to be here. You don't have to be here. No one's making anybody to be here too. And you know, that's how I take my job as a physical therapist. Like no one's making them come here. Like a doctor can recommend to come to therapy, but they have to choose to be there. Then it's our job to make it beneficial for them to keep coming back. And that's what I try to do here as well. You know, and so we'll have to see how The Last of Us 2 plays out, season 2 plays out. And Dead City season 2 and 28,000 years later, you know, comes now 28 years later. And all this stuff, you know, building up the franchises and dystopian universe and the way the world takes us and everything too, and the escapes that we have, you know. Tim says he lives in a 25-mile radius from his lifetime home, but some of his kids and grandkids have got into going down where you are, right? Yeah, so like Florida, yeah, I mean, so that's the snowbird capital right now. We're getting a lot of people are probably going back pretty soon to Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Ohio, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maine, Canada, and everything is, but you know, this year, the past hurricanes have really messed things up. And so there was less tourism that came around and less people that came around for, you know, the two back-to-back hurricanes in October. September and October was crazy, life-changing stuff. And yes, they're gone, but the aftermath is still around. Any natural disaster or any problem is like, yes, we're alive, we're safe, we're this, but now what? You know, people have to rebuild their homes. They've been living with a friend for 6 months or living in an apartment for 6 months or rented a place for 6 months. And I just don't know what to do. I wouldn't know what to do. It would be crazy to think about all that stuff. And like, hopefully I never have to. But I feel terrible for the people that have because No one wants that. You don't choose to live somewhere in the danger zone, but we have to be smarter with the way homes are being built, especially with storm surge. And, they build up pretty good with cinder block homes and making them stronger and doing that. But there has to be a way that's just sustainable, Ed, been a while. Glad to see things still the same here. So, yeah, hopefully you're doing well, Ed. And, so it's to be consistent too. Like that's how I feel you can get the best results in life. Being consistent with your message and your day-to-day and working out and your job and your everything. Because when you go to the gym, you can't just go and try all these different things and all these things. And you can. You can do whatever you want. But the real gains and progress are every week working out every day if you can, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days a week. But whatever it is, your sustained schedule, upper body, lower body, this, that. And so you have everything going that you can try each week. But if you do it consistently, every Tuesday, like I work out Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, like every week. And I have my certain days, my certain exercises, and you get stronger, you build up your endurance, you get, just everything across the board. And so it's very important to be consistent with that, with your job, showing up on time, doing this, doing that, being consistent and being trustworthy and being someone you can count on is something I have always wanted to be in my life, because I don't want someone waiting for me. I can wait for them, like I usually do wait for my friends or my wife, but I don't want people to wait for me too much. It's just not, I don't feel happy for that. I'd rather be getting ready earlier and, ready, take the time, put the effort in, make sure if you have to be somewhere, like tomorrow morning, we have to be somewhere tomorrow morning. So we got to leave earlier accordingly to be there for the time, just because traffic's going to be a little nuts in the morning and we have to deal with it. And so that's just the way it's got to be. So hopefully you live and learn. I love the phrase, I was saying, there's no mistakes in life, only lessons learned. There are mistakes for sure, but if you don't learn from them and they continue to be mistakes, they're a pattern, and either you want to change or you don't. Choice. Everything's a choice. You can choose to do this. You can choose to write obnoxious messages in the chat about another channel. You can choose to do that. Or you could support both channels. You could choose to be good and be helpful and be reliable on both channels. Or you can make fake accounts and have people come here and do whatever over and over and over again and do that time and time again. Doesn't make sense, but hey, people do it and I can't stop them from doing it. And to each their own, I guess, right? So Ed says, I've been following us through Walking Dead since at least a decade or close by, from that Last of Us and a few more things. Always enjoy the content. Keep it up, man. So I appreciate it, Ed. So I appreciate the kind words. And I like for people to be here as a community. And yes, we talk about different shows and different movies and different universe stuff on there too. So Phantom Deluxe, yes, I remember you, Phantom Deluxe. As long as you're the same Phantom Deluxe that's been here for a while. I was only gone for like a month. I wasn't gone for many months or a year. But yes, I remember everybody that's been here. And I was thinking about it too as I was cleaning out my one bedroom that has turned into like a storage room. And I've gotten, different things over the years from people. And I just wonder how everyone's doing. Like over the years that I've met that are real people, nice people, caring individuals. Not all the craziness that has happened over there with, spammers or, just trolls or whatever, over the years. Remember one time we were getting it all the time. And, luckily I have my moderators now that have been doing a job and taking over and doing well with it and helping out greatly. And I should have done that earlier. But again, live and learn. Hindsight's always 20/20. We see it after the fact. But that's why I always try to teach people, especially younger people, that can change things now from what I've learned. That's why I've always loved learning from people that are older than me, my elders, respecting my elders and the experiences that they've had, and to learn from what they impart as their wisdom through experience. There's something great about that. Phantom Deluxe Q&A, if The Walking Dead had to introduce CRM in the universe, at which point in timeline and in which show should they have set it up? I like the idea of when they were doing it with Jadis, but they just did it in such a hiding, scaredy cat way, as they were like, we don't want to commit to this other group. Maybe we expand upon it, or maybe we don't. Oh, there's the 3-ring symbol. Oh, there's the symbol there. Oh, it's on a can of peaches. Oh, it's on the thing. Oh, it's there. Oh, it's there. Oh, you know. Oh, it's on Fear the Walking Dead. Oh, they're there. And then, like, it was kind of like they couldn't commit to it. Which is like, you know, you got to jump in. You can't dip the toe in and be like, well, the story's going to thing. You have to go one way or another. And that's kind of what happened with Fear the Walking Dead. They were going down this path. And remember, I was thinking about this the other day, too. Remember when Fear the Walking Dead had all those problems, not just with my channel, but any Walking Dead channel that was trying to talk about Fear the Walking Dead, they were like putting up the biggest fight against the YouTubers that wanted to talk about that show. And it was crazy. Like, the show should have been much better, in my opinion. And the first 2 seasons were just all over the place. The 3rd season was a good step in the right direction, but they were only good for like half a season. And then they were jumping all over the place. This, that, just, they couldn't commit to one way or another. And it's like they were cutting costs, and problems with, you know, just money was probably a huge issue. Like, I don't know if they've ever talked about it, but when you have a bunch of different shows and productions and staff and producers and executive producers and writers and directors and everything under the sun, then you bring over Greg Nicotero and you bring over, you know, all these people, and you bring over the people from The Walking Dead. Were you actually bringing them over, or did you just bring them over in name? The best season of Fear the Walking Dead, supposedly, allegedly, had phantom writers, which is crazy. And then you had different showrunners, and so did The Walking Dead, but, you know, they did certain things. But then that always had the source material. You had the different things to go off of, and then you could change things up in the show. Because, like, initially they were like, okay, The Walking Dead, maybe we can turn this into, well, first of all, you got to make it into a successful comic book. And it was. And then they were like, let's make this into a show. Okay. Where do we want to try for this? NBC? Okay, that sounds good. HBO? That sounds good. Nope, neither of them want to do it. Okay, let's go to AMC. They're like, oh, let's give it a shot. And it was good. The first season is good. But then it starts getting too good and too big and too this and money and writing and, you know, showrunners and everything. And it's like, I wonder how it would have been if we had the first showrunner for the entire run. If it just didn't get crazy and clouded with problems and whatever, you know, like money, budget issues, everything clouds it. And so, Tim, yeah, so I haven't watched the latest episode of 1923. Is it the season finale today? Because my wife and I have watched the episodes up to today's episode. And I don't know how you feel about it, Tim, but I enjoyed the beginning episodes of it, but these last episodes have been pretty lackluster. So it's a 2-hour finale. So it's the season finale. So they really didn't bring Spencer back until the finale, which is crazy because Spencer is definitely one of the best characters of the show. But I'm drawn in, even though they've like done other stuff outside of Montana. Like they've went to New York, they've dealt with Texas, Oklahoma, other areas. And even though Yellowstone has dealt with other areas, I don't know, how do you feel about 1923, Tim? Do you like it? Or anybody else for that matter, if you guys watch 1923. And please don't say anything about the 2-hour finale, because I haven't seen it yet. But are you guys liking it? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you think it's good? Because I think it got better. The second season was definitely better than the first season. And hopefully they're setting up an epic third season. But by that time, it should be 1924, no? Like, how much time has passed? Is it just one single year? But, yeah, I mean, we'll have to see what happens and how it sets things up. Because it is a good show. And I like Taylor Sheridan, and I like what he does. But I think some of his other shows have just been better. Like 1883 was better. 1923 has struggled for a lot of parts, in my opinion. But Yellowstone, a good franchise on there as well, overall. But all right, guys, that's my hour. It goes quick. I'll be back next Sunday. Yeah, Frank Darabont was the. I think Frank Darabont, if he stayed on, I think it would have been a different show, but it still would have been great. I think the first season was Frank, and then half of season 2, but they just didn't give enough backing and enough. I don't know. I mean, it just fell apart. So. But all right, guys, I'm excited for, the future of The Last of Us Season 2, which will be next Sunday is the premiere of Last of Us Season 2, which I'll be talking about that for sure. And then Dead City Season 2 and all the other shows. But thank you guys for taking the time to be here. I'll be back next Sunday, which will be April 13th. That'll be the Masters Sunday, so we'll talk a little bit about the Masters if you're into golf. But thank you guys. I truly appreciate it. Remember, guys, with hard work, dedication, belief, and sacrifice, you can truly achieve your goals no matter what they are. Keep working hard. You can do it. I'll be back next Sunday, guys, and I'll see you.